Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
Hope everyone's well this morning. Just to repeat, we've got a English-Spanish interpretation function, so please switch to Spanish or English depending on what language you require the answers in. We're going to do a split for 10:30 a bit later, 10:30 tonight, but we'll kick off with Ian Abrahams from TalkSport.
Hi Mikel, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
First of all, team news for tomorrow?
We will see today. We are training this afternoon. We'll see today how everybody's.
You got a little bit of criticism last week for playing a false nine without going with a main striker, which you haven't done this season up until last week. How do you respond to that, and will you be doing the same thing tomorrow?
That criticism is part of the job and normally comes when you lose, so we all know that.
How do you see this tie? I mean, you've home this season, your form was last couple of rounds anyway, beaten by Olympiacos, the draw with Slavia Prague. You've got to get it right tomorrow at home.
Time to change it. We have to embrace the challenge, the opportunity we have ahead. I think it's the 10th time that the club is in a European semi-final, so it doesn't happen very often. So we have to take the opportunity tomorrow and earn the right to be in the final.
Is Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang and Kieran Tierney, are they likely to start?
Let's see today how everybody is in training, Ian.
Okay, one last one from me. Also, got Man City into the Champions League final. Chelsea are well placed to join them. I think that Man United are going to make the Europa League final. Your hope is, like 2 years ago, we're going to have a full house in the Premier League, yeah?
I think that would be a really good sign for our football.
Cheers, Miguel.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ian. We'll go to Dharmesh from Sky.
Hi, good morning, Mikel.
Morning.
There's so much talk surrounding Arsenal this week. Daniel X says he wants the best for Arsenal. Is the public nature of his takeover bid helpful, given it's the biggest match of your season?
We have to try to be away from all the rumors and everything that is happening around the club and focus on the pitch, because the best way to help the club to be in the best possible position is to win football matches and be competitive at the highest level.
Have you spoken to anybody involved in this takeover bid?
No.
And have the Kroenke family been in touch with you at all this week?
They've been in touch with us in the last week or so, and in a really convincing way, as I said already last week.
Can you just put into context, how big is this game for you personally, for the club, short term and long term?
It's a massive game for everybody, but in particular for the club, because we are here representing a football club and our fans, and what we want to do is do it the best way, winning trophies. And if we win tomorrow, we will be much closer to get another trophy, and this is the only aim and the purpose. That's why we are here.
Just finally from me, Mikel, does this dictate this game and the winning or not of the Europa League, what you can do in the summer?
I don't know, difficult to respond to that. What I can say is that winning always helps for the future. It's the best way to prepare anything for the future.
Thank you. Good
Thank
luck.
you.
Thanks, Dharmesh. We'll go to George Cummins from the BBC.
Thanks, Dan. Hello, Mikel.
Hi.
How often do you speak to the Kroenkes? It sounds like you talk to them regularly.
Often enough, and the rest, Vina, team, Edu, they do it as well really often. So there is a really good communication line.
Okay, good. And just in terms of that game last week, that away goal was absolutely huge, wasn't it?
It is always really important. We didn't get the result that we wanted, obviously, but with the context and the situation that happened during the game, we got out of that situation in a pretty good way, considering, again, the circumstances and playing for 40 minutes with 10 men.
A couple of weeks ago, I asked you about some comments Gary Neville and Jamie Carragher made about Aubameyang. I just wondered, after what he's been through and his performance on Sunday, do you think they was a bit harsh looking back on some of the stuff they said about him?
They are all the time free to talk. My job, my responsibility is to protect our players and try to get the maximum out of it. Obviously, we know certain things that the outside world doesn't know, and they can comment, but sometimes without really knowing all the details, which is a little bit unfair sometimes for the external people. And we make decisions that sometimes people are judging, but without really knowing the detail. And that criticism is part of our job.
And how is he after Sunday? He played well, didn't he?
He played well, and he felt much better than the days before that. Obviously, scoring a goal, it's really important for him as well, so he's in a good place.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thanks, George. We'll go to Nick Callow from Haters.
Hi, Mikel. Just a quick question about the supporters, if I may. Before the last home match, there was a large gathering of fans, very peaceful, well-natured protests against the owners. They're planning to have another protest tomorrow night before the match, but some supporters are arguing after what happened at Man United, they should cancel it in case it has a negative effect on the players in such a big game. What would your message be to supporters planning to come down to the stadium?
I think that they have to be able to express themselves, and if it's done in a pacific way, they have the right to do it. We will try to prepare the game the best possible way. I wouldn't like to use any excuses if something happens with that. I know that the only purpose of the fans is to defend the club, and they want the best for the team, and we will try to do the same.
Would it give the players a lift to see the fans cheering them in as they come in on the coach?
I think that would be great. We've been missing them so much. We need them. And if the players and the team feels that they are right behind them, supporting them, again, I think it's the 10th time that the club is playing a European semi-final. So it's a big moment for us. So hopefully we can have them closer than we had already in the last few months.
Okay, that's how it goes. Thanks a lot, cheers.
Thanks, Nick. We'll go to Mark Mann-Bryant from PA, please.
Morning, Miguel.
Morning.
You're still a young manager. You've already won the FA Cup, but given what's attached to the match tomorrow in terms of winning another trophy and taking the club back to the Champions League, is this the biggest match of your managerial career so far?
Well, it's a big moment, again, not for me, but for the club, for everything that has happened the last 2 years, in the last months, all the instability that we've been hit with for many different reasons. So I think it will be really important and a big step forward if we are able to be in that final and have the opportunity to win that trophy.
Is it acceptable for a club the size of Arsenal to spend 5 years out of the Champions League?
It's the reality. It's not what we want, obviously, but there are a lot of things that have happened in that period for many reasons. One is because the level is being raised to a standard that is unprecedented in this league. And we are not the only club that has been out of that, but obviously no one accepts that situation, and we want to change it straight away. And this season we still have the opportunity to do that.
Do you think the result tomorrow, if it's positive or negative, would basically determine whether you've had a successful season or not?
Well, it would be just like this, that's for sure. How good of a job you are doing is determined by many factors, but different people. Externally is only when you win or lose. That's the defining moment.
Great. Good luck tomorrow, Mikel. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mark. We'll go to James Ollie from ESPN.
Hi, Mikel. Just wanted to ask you about the left-back situation. Since Kieran got injured, there's been very little rotation in that area. Is that been to give Granit the best chance of adapting to a role that's not his natural position?
It's been one of the reasons as well, because the way we wanted to play and the players around, because we have managed to get some clean sheets as well since being playing there, something that didn't happen for 13 games, and he gave us something different to the team.
Cedric had a run in the team in January and February, but he's only played 3 games, I think, since the middle of February. What does he need to do to force his way back in?
Well, it's been a little bit unfortunate because he played some good games as a right back as well. And then we have the injury of Kieran. He played some as a left back. Then we were training the left back. And we could have given more opportunities. But it's true that Callum came on as well and did really well.
Thank you.
James Bench.
Hi, Mikel. You mentioned
Hi.
the clean sheets there, but you haven't had one at home, I believe, since January the 30th. What do you put your team's difficulties defending, particularly at the Emirates, down to?
Well, there have been many factors. Errors has been one of the main ones. We conceded some set pieces as well, and not much. Teams without creating much, they have managed to score a goal.
Yeah, you mentioned the errors there. I think it's 14 errors leading to shots, eight leading to goals in the Premier League and Europa League. How hard is it to coach that out of players?
I would say almost impossible. That's part of the football, and mistakes are part of any sport, and I think it's the hardest thing to coach.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Simon Collins from Evening Standard.
Hi, Mikel.
Hi.
Is there any update on David Luiz and how long he could be out for?
No, he was feeling better yesterday. Let's see how he's today. So we don't know yet the extent of the injury.
Is there a chance he could play tomorrow?
With David, it's always possible because he wants to. He was already saying before the game that he wanted to be available. He's made an incredible effort to be in the position that he is today, and the fact that he played against Newcastle was already a big bonus because he had a surgery in the knee, and with David, you never know.
And just on Pierre, you touched on a bit there. He's obviously had a very difficult season, contracting malaria, his mother being ill. But how much do you feel with everything that's gone on, the stage is set for him tomorrow night to turn this season into a brilliant one, and one that we remember for the right reasons?
This game gives you always another opportunity, and if you are there and you are ready for the taking, it can turn things around really quickly. So hopefully we can see that tomorrow.
And just the last one, the summer's obviously coming up. There's players whose loans will be ending, players apparently leaving the club possibly. How much should an incentive be for players? This could be the last chance as a group they win a trophy playing for Arsenal.
Well, I don't want to think like that. I want to think that they always have the hunger to win any competition and they are involved. It's true that for some players it might be the last season for different reasons, and I can see how much it means for them, how much they want it, and hopefully we can do that tomorrow.
Thanks, Mikel.
Thank you.
Thanks, Simon. Now a question from Spanish media. Javi Mata from Radio Villarreal. Hi, Javi.
Hola, Mikel.
Hola.
Buenos días. Conociéndote a ti y conociendo tu idea y la del Villarreal, quiero preguntarte ¿qué partido esperas tú? Nosotros esperamos un partido muy abierto y muy intenso y, vamos, con mucho gol. Y luego, ¿qué esperas del Villarreal? Porque 2-1, si crees que a lo mejor se resguarda más con la pelota y te espera, ¿qué crees? ¿O va a ser un partido abierto? Y aquí dicen que el Villarreal va a salir a ganar, va a salir no a especular, porque si van a especular ahí lo tiene perdido.
No lo sé cómo preparan el partido. Obviamente me preguntaste el día antes del partido qué partido nos íbamos a encontrar y el partido se condicionó de formas diferentes. En minuto 4 por la primera llegada y el primer gol que nos hicieron, la segundo gol con el balón parado y luego el hecho de que tuvimos que jugar 40 minutos con 10 hombres. Veremos lo que pasa. Tenemos la idea de lo que pueden intentar hacer y lo que creemos que tenemos que hacer nosotros para pasar. Y luego dentro del partido creo que hay muchas fases y muchos partidos a jugar.
Thanks, Javi. We'll go to Ivan Camilo.
Hola, buenos días. Quería preguntarte sobre cuáles consideras que pueden ser las claves para que deis la vuelta eliminatoria y paséis a la final. Muchas gracias.
Tenemos que estar más acertados que estuvimos en Villarreal. Obviamente tenemos que jugar con 11 jugadores en campo, cosa que no pudimos hacer allí, y el inicio de partido tiene que ser mucho mejor. Y yo creo que a partir de ahí se irán definiendo muchas cosas.
Thanks, Ivan. We'll now go to a couple of questions on 10:30 p.m. UK embargo. If we go to Sam Dean, please.
Hi, Mikel. Just following up on Simon's question about Oba. Obviously, he's been through, as we've said, so much this year personally as well as the team. We know he's a very big character and big personality, but has he Have you had to work to keep his spirits up and his personality around the dressing room this season? What's he been like as a person?
No, it's Oba's character is someone really lively. He's always joking, always smiling, and he had a difficult season for many reasons. We just, as a club and the staff, tried to support him as much as possible. The way that the team did as well when he had some personal issues, they were right behind him. And again, as I said before, football brings you another opportunity. He's in a good place right now, and he's very hungry to do something.
So he's the same over as ever. He's not been affected by it.
Well, everything affects, but you have to come through that. It's about how you react to difficulties in your career, which you're going to have at some stage, and he had some this season, and it's about showing the reaction and the capacity to have that.
Thanks, Sam. We'll go to Matt Dunn.
Hi, Mikel. I just wondered, you've been associated with the club for a long time. What do you believe the Arsenal DNA to be? And are those qualities long gone, as has been suggested this week by one of the club's former players?
Sorry, Matt, can you repeat the question?
I just wonder, when you hear the words Arsenal's DNA, what's your impression of what that is? And has the club still got the same DNA as it had years ago?
Well, our DNA is related to many factors. First, the history that we have, how we represent the club, our values, our way of playing, our way of doing things, our togetherness between what is the team, what is the fan, and what we are able to transmit to the world with that. And I believe that what we are trying to do is very much linked to that. There is still things to do, yes, but there was always this, because this game is evolving, this club is evolving, this club is not the same as 20 years ago, and it's not going to be the same in 20 years' time. So it's all the time something that you have to embrace, but at the same time evolve.
Thierry Henry said this week that those qualities that you talked about, and I think we're all talking about the same qualities, were long gone. You're on the inside, is that true?
I say that there are some things that we have to recover, and in our hands to do that. But I think that that is a responsibility for a lot of people, not just the team, not just the board, not just the ownership. It's as well the fans and everybody that really loves this football club.
Thanks, Matt. We'll go to the last couple now. Firstly, John Cross.
Hello, Mikel. I was just going to ask you, the club itself has been in European competition every season since 95, 96. Yourself included, pulled off something of a miracle last year by winning the FA Cup and getting the team into Europe. How important, in terms of prestige, in terms of taking the club forward, and indeed in terms of finance, is getting back into Europe for you and the club next season?
Well, I think it gives you the platform visually first, as you mentioned, then because it's related to our history and the demands that this club has got, and then because obviously financially the way to attract a sponsor, to attract players, to improve your squad, and to challenge for the big trophies, you have to be in Europe, and that's the big challenge that we have ahead of us.
But both as a player and as a manager at Arsenal, you've been involved in some pretty tense games, return legs, final days. The clubs seem to be able to always pull out these results. How much confidence now have you got that they can do that again?
Well, we've got experience from the past. We've got experience from this season as well in many ways. And the last one has been in Villarreal when we were in a really difficult position with 2-0 down and 10 men, but we still managed to pull something out. And we have a big shot tomorrow.
Thanks so much. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thanks, John. And finally, we'll go to Nick Ames.
Hi, Mikel.
Hi.
We know that, as you said earlier, some of the players maybe will leave the club at the end of the season, or there may be changes in personnel. Are those decisions made already, or are there some players who maybe tomorrow night and in the next few games can change your mind and change that decision?
Yeah, a lot of things can change for many different reasons, Nick. Something is a plan, and then a plan that someone that you think is going to stay for any reason, that happens and it changes. So it's very difficult to predict 100% of that plan that is going to be what you expect to be.
Looking back at last week's game, obviously some things went well, some things didn't go well. What would you do differently going into tomorrow's game?
Well, the way we started the game, that's for sure. We did some things that we didn't talk about. We conceded an early goal, which I think it was difficult to swallow, and it took us a little while to react after we had a really good period. How we handled both boxes and the discipline to play with 11 players in this competition, it's key, and we didn't manage either to do that. But when we did a lot of the things that we have to do, the game looked completely different.
Thank you.
Thanks, Nick. Thanks, everyone. See
Thank
you
you.
soon.